I'm in the garage today with another project on the split window. I want to switch out these valve covers because these wire clips go for that wire that lays across the intake there for the temperature sending unit. And also these valve covers need some touch-up paint work. Whenever the plastic was on them after the engine was painted at the builder, they wrapped it in plastic and that it was a little premature and it peeled off some of the paint, and then these decals got kind of fuzzy. So I got new decals, the 300 horsepower ones that go on the valve cover below these, and I got some touch-up paint. So let's get these guys off. I also want to try to get that little bit of a dent out. So we'll do that, touch them up, put them back on, and keep on chugging. Alright, so I've got both valve covers off. I have to clean up a little bit of paint shavings that fell on the head there and that fell around here, but everything looks good in here since everything's brand new in here. I didn't get a chance to take a look under the valve covers whenever they put the engine together, so it's neat to check out to see what they have going on in there. And so now I'll just peel off these labels and scuff them down and try to hammer that little dent out, which I can see it sticks out a little bit on the inside. So I think I can just tap that a little bit, and that'll be definitely a lot better looking than it is right now. So I'll tap that out, get these scuffed, peel those off, and alright, so I worked out the dent pretty much all the way. I'm gonna sand it a little bit and see what it feels like since the paint is pretty well chipped up now. But as you can see from the inside, that little shiny spot was where the dent was. You really can't see anything. So I'm just gonna scuff that up a little bit, but all I did was set it up against a dolly and use the Resprayed hammer, which a lot of times is used for fixing stainless trim, but the regular body hammers were too big to fit in there, so I just laid it up here and just tapped it with that hammer, and it came right out. So since metal has a memory of where it was previously stretched to, it came right back to that. So I'm going to sand it, and it might need a couple more taps right in the middle, and then it should be good. You'll never know it was there. So I got most of the dent out, and I used a little bit of 80 and 320 sandpaper to clean up the area, and you can see there's just a little divot there and a little groove there, but the backside is perfect. I'm not sure if there was a repair done here or what this is from, but I think I might just hit this with a little bit of filler or filler primer, and that'll fill that right in. Let that dry, scuff up the whole thing, take these decals off, and hit them with a little bit of paint. So I've been doing some more work under here. I resprayed the valve covers, but they have kind of a rough finish. I'm really not sure why. So I'm gonna have to resand those and probably buy another can of paint. And I finished up the Pcv system, the pressure case ventilation system. So that runs off of the back of the carb and goes into the back of the block there. Oil fill cap is on. And everybody always complains that reproduction parts don't fit that well. You just have to kind of massage it a little bit. Like this was a little bit tight, so you just kind of had to open it up just a hair and wrap it up to protect the chrome, but open it up just a hair with 2 channel lock pliers, and then it went on like a glove, And now I have the return spring on, so I have a fully working throttle now. I guess I can put on the wire. I put in the temperature sender, so I can put that on. And the whole reason I had to switch the valve covers, like I mentioned before, was because the clips were on that side. So the clips are now on this side. So this wire, once I repaint these and put the bolts back in, that'll snap in place. When this valve cover was over there, there was a dent. It was like right here. There was a pretty gnarly dent. So I pounded that guy out. You can't even tell it was there. And there were a couple little dents along the ridge here that I pounded out. I'm giving it a second go, repainting the valve covers. I'm using a different paint this time, Duplicolor instead of VHT. So that one's done and this one's waiting. I just wiped it off and let it dry, and then give him a coat, see how he turns out. So I think it's turning out better this time. Just want to take a minute to admire the valve train. So it was popular back in the day to cut the snorkels off, try to get more horsepower. I don't know if there was a recall that said to do that or not, but a lot of people did, or they cut holes in the back of them. People did all kind of funky things. So I bought one that had the snorkels cut off, and you can buy new snorkels. So I'll cut those off, put new ones on. But the funny thing about this is that somebody welded a big old piece of pipe on the bottom of it. Alright, so now all the bugs are out. But I'm going to use the Dremel, and I'm going to try to cut some of these tack welds and break this pipe off. And then I'll bead blast this guy. I'm going to try to shoot above the air cleaner lip on the tack. I don't want to damage the actual air cleaner more than this guy already did. So I used the Dremel and I cut off the little stovepipe that was welded on the bottom of here. Then I used the flap disc and I cut off wheel to clean up the welds that were left. So I have it pretty much roughed in, so it's pretty smooth. There's a couple little bumps here and there, but I'll probably go over that by hand a little bit with some sandpaper. But that'll be good, because you'll never see that anyways, and there's a gasket that goes under here, so that'll take up any little bumps that I miss. And the funny part about this is that this is a drop air cleaner base, so they made it like a 2-3 inch rise base. I'm not sure why anybody would want to do that, but oh well. Next, I think I'm going to drill out and find these spot welds that hold these snorkels in, because I want these to be off so I can bead blast in behind there and paint in behind there before I put the new snorkels on, because I don't want it to rust in behind here like this. So just have to find where those spot welds are. I think there's one here, maybe one right on that corner. Take these off. So I removed what's left of the snorkels, and they are spot welded in 4 corners on the edge. So all I did was take my cutoff wheel and I just made the metal in those areas really thin, and then I just peeled it up with a screwdriver. Then I went back with the cutoff wheel and cleaned up any metal that was left over. So you can see they just painted them once they were spot welded together. So I think what I want to do is bead blast this whole thing, paint it, and then I'm going to take my new snorkels, line them up, and I'm going to drill a couple small holes, 4 small holes in it, and then I'll tack weld it from the back once it's clamped tight. And so just in those spots the paint will burn away, but the rest of this will stay nice. So that's the plan. And it's funny, everybody laughed and thought I was crazy for buying this for 20 bucks, but in about half an hour I removed the snorkels in that stovepipe. I got my air cleaner snorkels in the mail, and I just wanted to point out the craftsmanship on these. The tooling they have for these is really, really nice. It comes out good. I see why they're so expensive. Just it's an odd piece that probably doesn't sell very much, but there's a little bit of labor involved with spot welding, and I'm sure there's a couple different tools you have to put it through, but I just thought it's a pretty neat piece of craftsmanship. But before I weld the snorkels onto the air cleaner base, I wanted to cleaned them off. I got all the oil off and grease from manufacturing. And I want to spray primer and paint in here before it's on the air cleaner. It'll be a lot easier to get to now. So I'll put paint and primer on the insides of these, and then I think I'll put weld through primer on this flange here, and I'll prime the outside just to keep these from getting any surface rust on them. And I'm blasting the air cleaner base tomorrow, so whenever I do that, then I can weld them up. And I'll do the same on that mating surface. I'll put weld through primer, and then I'll just prime the whole air cleaner base and then paint the whole thing. I just want to get paint on the insides of these though, that way they don't flash rust. I bead blasted the air cleaner housing, and then I primed it with a self-etching primer, and then I just primed these with regular primer first, that way I could get inside as far as I could. And then I drilled some 1/4-inch holes in the back and used my MIG to weld it from the back side. And so I think I'm just going to fill this with a little bit of metal epoxy, whatever little holes are left to fill that, and then I'll just put a little bit of filler primer on that and sand it smooth, and you'll never know. So it turned out good. They're both level, and they're not pointing out or anything, so it'll be good. Alright, let's do a final reveal. And I have the valve covers done, and the air cleaner done. Everything's painted. I have the correct labels on it, and I reattached the snorkels on the air cleaner base, and we have our lid on. So that's it for that saga, and now we're going to be on to hopefully ignition soon, and then cooling. That's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more various Corvette content. I have a lot of work to get done, so I'll catch you guys later.